Hello, welcome to our Meet the Tutor podcast. I'm here with Tracey, our Access to Higher Education tutor at Clip Market Raising, and we're going to find out a little bit more about Tracey and what she does here. So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. So, as Paul said, I'm Tracey, and I work as an Access to Higher Education tutor for Clip, which is Community Learning in Partnership, based in Market Raising. And it's a brilliant place to work. We have a lovely team, and it's a real pleasure to work there.
Fantastic. And outside of work, hobbies, interests?
Well, I've always had a passion for life sciences. I'm really into natural history in particular, but I've always been interested in health and well-being, and in particular how the human body works. So I'm always sort of reading bits and pieces about it. And I'm actually on a bit of a mission to help people to understand how their bodies work, because the human body is an amazing thing. And I think a lot of people don't really understand what goes on inside. So teaching on access gives me a real opportunity to enable people to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say it links in nicely with your role here and teaching and sharing that knowledge as well.
Yeah.
That leads us nicely into the next question as well, a fun fact.
A fun fact. Okay, so you might not know this, but the typical adult human body has 30 trillion cells in it. So that's all your cells. That's everything from red blood cells, which are the most common, to nerve cells and skin cells. But you've actually got 38 trillion bacteria cells. So what's interesting is you're not even totally human. More than half of you, if you do it by number, is bacteria.
Interesting. A good. I'll make a note of that. That's a lot of trillions, and I think good quiz question as well. Good little bit of knowledge there as well.
Yeah.
In terms of how you came about to your role at the moment, can you tell us a little bit about your career history?
I can. Yeah, I've got a bit of an eclectic past, really, Paul. I started off. I did a science degree at university, which was environmental science, because, as I said, I've always been interested in natural history. But then I got a job working for the food industry. So I did some work in the laboratories for the food industry, and in production and processing. And whilst I was there, I got into a training role. So they asked me to help with some training, and I really loved it. I really found it very satisfying to help people progress. And somebody said to me, well, why don't you just do the teacher training program? So I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So I did that. I did my PGCE while I was working for the food industry, and ended up with a role working for Grimsby Institute, teaching teacher training. And I did that for, about 7 years, 7 years. And the Access to Higher Education program was running there, and they wanted somebody to come along and help with the progression to higher education roles. They wanted somebody that had a bit of an awareness of both university and the job market. So to be able to advise students how to do things like CVs and fill out application forms and fill out UCAS forms. So I did that. And then the opportunity came up for me to teach biology. And I thought, wow, that would be amazing to be able to go back to my subject and teach that. So I did that for 8 years, absolutely loved it. And then left and worked for a different company for about 3 years, actually working in research. So I went back to industry, really, worked in research for 3 years. And then my colleague Zoe, who I think you've probably met before, she contacted me and said that the job at Clip came up, and I leapt at it. It was exactly what I wanted to do. Come and work back with my subject and teach small groups of access students and help them to progress. So here I am now.
Yeah, it sounds great. The teaching, but also the research side and information behind it. And that Tracey, that answers the next question of how did you join Clip as well? You mentioned Zoe.
I did, yeah. Funnily enough, Zoe and I both left Grimsby Institute at the same time. We wanted to progress different things and or pursue different things. So we both left, but we kept in touch, and she knew that I was always really interested in teaching biology. So when the role came up here, she contacted me, and the rest, as they say, is history. So here I am.
That's brilliant. Welcome. And you mentioned there about access to higher education, and yourself and Zoe deliver that course. Can you tell us a little bit more about what access to higher education is?
Access to higher education, it's something that Do you know, it's funny because so few people have heard of it. And it's a real shame because it's the most amazing course. I've heard it nicknamed A-levels for adults. So for people that maybe didn't do so well at school, or maybe did do well at school, but have reached adulthood, maybe had families, and now want to go back to doing what they want to do. They want to maybe progress into a chosen career in the health sector. Access do lots of diplomas. It's just we happen to do the health professions diploma at CLIP. But Access gives you the ability to apply to university if you don't have sufficient UCAS points from A-levels. So if you didn't do A-levels or you didn't do so well in A-levels, Access is an alternative route. It's a 1-year full-time intensive course. So you basically do 2.5 A-levels in a year. So it's pretty intensive, but it's taught in a way that adults enjoy. So you're not treated like children. It's not, it is a classroom, but it's not a classroom as you know it. It's something where you are with like-minded people who all want to be there. I think that's a really important thing. And the program is very varied. You learn a lot of new things, but you also learn academic knowledge as well. So it fully prepares you for life at university. Because I know for some students, if you've been out of education for a few years, and certainly the students I've taught have been anything from 19 to 59, it can be quite daunting coming back into education. So Access understands that, and we provide a lot of support and get you to where you want to be.
That's great. I think it sounds like a really fantastic opportunity to have that opportunity to go back into learning and to study at university. And I know we'll talk later about career pathways and what it can lead to as well. Last question as part of our Meet the Tutor podcast today is you spoke very passionately about your role. Yes. and about the Access to Higher Education Diploma. What do you enjoy most about teaching?
What do I enjoy most? There's lots of things, but I think primarily I love teaching the subject that fascinates me and that I'm passionate about. So, who doesn't want to work with the subject they love? I think I find myself very, very lucky. I like helping people progress. It's a pleasure watching how people change, how they gain confidence, because Access does that to people. You start off with people who maybe are only have only got or have got level 2s, and you watch them blossom. You watch them gain confidence and progress and get to university. And then the other thing that I find so lovely is that I can go to a hospital maybe to take my mum for an appointment, or go to see, a podiatrist, and I constantly bump into ex-Access students, and they're then, oh my goodness, it's you've got there, you've got to where you want to be, and it's just a brilliant moment seeing them in their job with their uniforms on, as professionals, being a paramedic or being a nurse or a podiatrist or whatever, and that's just the best thing ever.
That's great. It sounds very rewarding, and to see that as well, to see them years later and to remember, and I'm sure they'll remember you as well. So, yeah, that's great. Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining us today, Tracey.
You're
been great
very
to
welcome.
find out more about your role and about Access to Higher Education. If you would like to find out more about Access to Higher Education, please visit the CLIP website, Community Learning Partnership, or you can email info@cliplearning.com.